me luck. It's my old iPod. All right, here we are.
Good evening, ladies, and that's pretty much it. Well, that no men are allowed rule that I rescinded seems a little silly in retrospect. And, when your entire fan base comes from the veterinary industry and your home visitation with end-of-life cats, your clientele is pretty much indistinguishable from that of a gigolo.
Ladies for Clarke.
Like a gigolo right down that small handful of men you'd rather not deal with, but hey, you gotta pay the bills, right? Go find a home, man. Come on. Get out of here. Go ahead. Go. Go find a home. Go find. Guess you cheese, man. Come on. What are you doing? Get out of here. It's my boy Crypto. The king of Halloween. Right there. 2024 spookiest Halloween. Because they didn't have one for sexiest. He wasn't spooky. There's no house to judge them booty shorts. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming down. A special thank you to Galatea for having me. That's Galatea, not to be confused with Galatea over on 6th and Willow. Different kind of pearls involved in that process. Ironically enough, your product is actually more likely to lead to teabagging, which is an interesting factoid. I owe Galatea a great debt here because my only other option for the show was to live stream it from the game room. Oh, the game room, where is that? It's in my apartment. It's where I watch movies and play Xbox through one of them newfangled projector TVs, right? So like the screen is like, the entire wall, you know what I'm saying? And I got a 6 sound system in there too, so, because, doing stand-up at my age is not enough of a tell that I'm currently navigating a midlife crisis without car money. When your man starts going on about his AV setup, he's shooting blanks, all right? And game room is also a double entendre because now anyone who knows me knows that my aesthetic is basically knowingly tacky. And the game room especially, so it's all like, the decor is all like jungle print. African safari kind of stuff, It's like leopard and zebra, some giraffe, a dash of tiger. I would describe it as where a Golden Globus producer circa 1977 would bring a young starlet to run lines. Oh, yeah, you'll be doing some lines all right. But yeah, so if it weren't for Galatea, I would be doing this show in my man cave. Luckily, I got access to this venue. The exact diametric opposite of a man cave. And we got a little tip jar set up out there. It says good stuff on it. If you can throw a couple of bucks in there on your way out, that's just for the people that have been helping me. And I stress a couple of bucks. Don't factor me in this, because if they get too much, they'll make me share some of it. And I cannot, in good conscience, take your money for what I'm about to put you through. So, welcome to my Election Eve special. You thought last week at Madison Square Garden was a hate rally. Buckle up. All right, so cards on the table, just so you all know where I'm coming from. All right, here's what I'm hoping for. Trump 2024. The hyphen before the year, which represents the word until, is silent.
Okay.
It can still happen. There's a couple months left. His cholesterol's got me through the roof, right? Roll in right now. But, no, I'm not MAGA. I don't. No, I want to relegate them to the dustbin. I want to make America America again.
Good idea.
That's right, Chris Mayato, one of the half-dozen Italian men in Hoboken voting Harris Walls. I am appropriating your cohort's ancestral catchphrase, Ma! Now, I said his name before. That is the last time I will be using his name tonight. God willing ever. It was hard enough getting it out the once. I cannot bear to speak those 5 letters in that particular sequence.
Yeah.
I had to go on sabbatical from my Dizzy Gillespie fan club. It has severely limited the ways in which I can talk about Victorian-era women of ill repute. Now, I mean, I'm going to be talking about him, of course. You know, just not using his name. I don't think you'll find it confusing. I think you'll be able to pick it up from the context clues. Like, if, for example, if I were to say, we can't let that Fiji mermaid topped with flan appoint any more Supreme Court justices, you won't be like, who's he talking about? I was telling somebody about this show I wanted to do, and she was like, well, you're trying to build an audience. So you don't want to alienate people who vote for him.
Yes, I do.
And I was like,
Yes.
neither of those sentences is true. But you're onto something insofar as, of all the things I want to do to them, alienate's pretty far down the list. You know, comes way after disenfranchise, deport, indict, render infertile, pelt with rotten fruit. You know what I like to do now? I like to talk to the undecided voters. Any undecided voters in the house? Anybody on the fence? Not sure which one? Oh, thank Christ, I'm lying. I don't want to talk to people. I don't have to. I can't escape their thoughts. NPR has devoted an entire time slot just to interviews with undecided voters. That time slot, late August-present. Just wall to wall with their inane bleedings. Solipsistic sophistry. It just never ends. I have to say, though, I can't help but be a little envious. That sounds like a magical existence. To be born anew each fresh morn into a world of endless possibility, ripe for discovery, no priors, nothing gleaned from previous experience. Yesterday has nothing to tell you about today. That sounds like, in a word, bliss. And kudos just for making it this far, because, now me personally, if I were congenitally incapable of making a simple binary choice of distinguishing A from B, the building block of reason, I never would have made it out of high school. I would have gotten my driver's license and immediately gone out and wrapped my Hyundai around a divider. Oh, straight shot to my destination? Howard Johnson sounds tempting. Straight shot, Hojo, straight shot, Hojo. Oh, undecided voters, how your continued existence spits in Darwin's face. Well, time for bed. Should I remove my makeup? Or attack my tongue with this hole punch? Both approaches have a lot to recommend them. I find myself leaning towards the former. Self-perforation hasn't worked out that well for my family, but I want to hear more from the cold cream. want to know what this glob of pawns is planning to do for me. Just wipe your face and vote Democrat and get off my radio. Just go away and leave me alone. Oh my God. Yeah, okay, yes, just vote Democrat. Please, just vote, just stop overthinking it. Just vote Democrat. Oh, but Clarke, the Democrats don't align 100% with my values. Nor mine. You know who aligns 100% with my values? Laser Man, the superhero I came up with and drew little cartoons of in 3rd grade. Oh, talk about a unity candidate. You wouldn't have to hold your nose to vote for Laser Man. No siree. But outside of a trapper keeper, that's what clothespins are for. At your income level, anyway. So yeah, I guess I'm outing myself as a normie Dem. Cringe lib. Just want to get back to brunch. I'm not embarrassed. I'm proud to say I stand with the wine moms. And look, I'm not here to defend Hillary Clinton. Avenge. That's the word I'm looking for. No, seriously. Hillary Clinton, the Phil Collins of politics. The hipsters and cool kids just use their names synonymously with lame, but me and black people know what's up. We got their backs. And if you're really into parsing analogies, yes, S-Chip is Hillary's In the Air Tonight hooded drums. People are surprised, though. They're surprised when they find out I'm hashtag still with her. They're like, oh, that's funny. I always figured you for more of a Bernie Sanders type. And I can see why you'd think that. I do check a lot of the boxes, right? But no, I am actually the founder and president of underemployed single white gamers with facial hair and pot habits who aren't big fans of Bernie. And you can scoff, but I'm telling you, if us Woog Wafafwa Bob had ever figured out a way to recruit a second member, oh, we'd be a force to be reckoned with. Our motto? Not me. Us Woog Wafafwa Bob. I tried, though. Early on, when I saw where the energy was, I tried to be a Bernie bro. I got the shoes and everything. Okay, is that a pity laugh, or do you actually recognize my vintage Nike Hail Bops?
I recognize what I didn't know associated with Bernie.
So you may or may not remember their motto, just do it. Okay, see, if I had brought printouts of the Heaven's Gate Wikipedia, you could all join in my fun. But, look, just because I compare his movement to a UFO suicide cult, that does not mean I'm a reflexive Bernie hater. I'm not, by any means. I will always defend him against unfair criticism. And I can admit, a lot of the complaints about Bernie from my wing of the party are made in bad faith. People say all sorts of stuff about Bernie. They say, oh, he's a rat fucker, he's a backbencher, he's a sanctimonious windbag, he's a crank magnet who elevates grifters like Tulsi Gabbard and Sean King. They say, oh, he hides behind a Praetorian guard of cyber bullies. Oh, he owes his rise to the NRA and Lou Dobbs of all people, and yet he's got the nerve to appoint himself the purity police. They say, well, he's not racist, but he focuses on the white working class at the exclusion of all else and considers minority outreach beneath him. He's not sexist, but he's all too happy to benefit from... Okay, he's kind of sexist. He's done a lot of stuff that... What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, right. So people say all sorts of stuff about Bernie that's true. But I think they're missing the forest for the trees. I mean, come on, people. A stick of Tom's natural deodorant magically came to life and went into public service. And you're going to nitpick his record? Where is your sense of wonder? Not a Bernie bro. And I find it really interesting that all while, Biden and then now Harris, while they were just racking up endorsement after endorsement from the, I promise not to say the word, the never giant bloviating tardigrade Republicans, your Tom Nicholses, your Rick Wilsons, didn't say a peep. Some mild grumbling when the hardcore guys like Bill Kristol and David Frum signed on, but they still held their fire. They didn't start threatening to withhold their votes until it was Liz Cheney. What is with you guys and blondes? Like we didn't already know when you said neoliberal, you meant postmenopausal.
Be careful.
And they're all up my butt now. You libs love Liz Cheney. You love Liz Cheney. You'd vote for her if you could. Yes. In a Republican primary, you're goddamn right I would. Because here's how that works. See, if she won that, then I could vote against her in the general. And if she lost that, you know what Liz Cheney would do? What? Unlike some giant curdled piles of Limburger in the vague shape of a man I Liz Cheney would go away and leave me alone. Do you sense a theme emerging? Oh, brother. There's another group of those, never tardigraders. They were instrumental in 2020. RFB, Republicans for Biden. And of course, when Biden stepped aside, they had to rebrand. And Republicans for Kamala was born. So they tweaked their logo and they stamped the new initials on it, looked at it and said, "Ah, shit." And Republicans for Harris was born. Okay, now that's not a very good Robert F. Kennedy Jr. joke. Let me see if I got another one. Okay, here it goes. Wow, he looks and sounds just like his dad.
Does now, maybe.
Sorry, Norm, we didn't crack the code. Wait, why am I looking up? You would have voted Republican if you weren't dead. Sorry, Norm. Let you down. Okay, we have to win this one, guys. We have to. Because if we go down, it's game over for the West. Who's going to lead the free world? England? Come on. All they do over there is dissolve quorums, check for Adam's apples, and not floss. How do they conquer the planet? Anyway, the worldwide authoritarian drift caught a lot of us by surprise. It shouldn't have. There were signs along the way that we ignored. Like when a little startup company called itself Uber.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, okay, that's a normal, not menacing thing to call your crowdsourced taxi cab. Sure. Uber. That wasn't their first choice. They originally wanted to call it Das Sprachenauto. But that wasn't Teutonic enough, so they changed it to Uber. What a cudgel of a word. Uber. At least Volkswagen's got a playful lilt to it.
Yeah.
Good job, tech bros. You managed to come up with a more apt name for a Nazi mobile than the Nazis did for the Nazi mobile. It always comes back to Nazis. I apologize for that. I've been meaning to say this for a while now. I think, because it's not World War II anymore. It's Cold War II. And that's why I think maybe it's time we can stop making the Germans wear the hair shirt all the time. And here's what I propose. You know how when you're in a fight with some peastic Euro weenie, the go-to line is, If it weren't for us, you'd be speaking German right now. Right?
Right.
I think we should retire that. But here's what we got to do. We have to do two things. Okay. First, we have to keep Nordstrom big and tall Pennywise from retaking the White House. That's one. And we have to keep Ukraine on the map.
Yep.
Yes.
Slava Ukraini, I think, is what you, right?
I just want Poland to be safe.
Slava Ukraina. But once those two conditions are met, I say, instead of saying, you'd be speaking German right now, now we can tell people is, hey, if it weren't for us, you'd be dancing like this right now. Hey, 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 hey. I'm not married to it. We can workshop that. I'll tell you, if it is the era of the strongman, is it really so much to ask that at least one half of that compound word apply to these dorks? Kim Jong-il? Some tyrant? Got the state media apparatus devoted to lying about his weight. Lame. Hollywood lied to us. What was the one thing you could always count on in the cinematic battle of good versus evil? Evil had the cool aesthetics. It's not like that in the real world, though. I'm sorry, I'm still not over the Brittany Griner Victor Bout trade. That was dispiriting. You're telling me the notorious international gun runner who goes by the Merchant of Death isn't the 7-foot-tall tatted black chick? It's the retired firefighter-looking dude? James Bond can't have a twisted psychosexual frenemy-ship with him. And Putin, this ponce. Ugh. Okay, contra what I said, Putin actually is like a movie villain. But the uncoolest one. All right, let's look at the evidence here. Now, Russia is a failing kleptocracy. So he's basically a crime boss with delusions of grandeur. Of short stature, can't overlook the Napoleon complex involved.
Yeah.
Who has his enemies eliminated with the poke of the poison tip of a parasol. He's the Penguin! I mean, he's had a lot more work done than Danny DeVito in the Burton film, but otherwise, I think the comparison tracks. Seriously, he looks like he forgot his EpiPen. Right? See, I don't think it was Putin's destiny to be a dictator. I think God had other things in mind for him. Again, let's look at the evidence. A lot of photographs out there of him in a drab color palette, with his tits out, and he's not particularly attractive. That man was born to be an American Apparel model. Look, all I'm saying is, if I have to be ground into the rubble of history by a pair of jackboots, I would prefer the boots not have lifts in them. Vain little toad. Ugh. Putin is no Blofeld. No, Blofeld, there's a man. He knew who he was. Yeah, I got a purebred Persian on my lap. You got a problem with it? Say something. Go ahead, say something. I'll throw you in the shark tank. And the last thing you'll see is you're being torn apart is Solomon here, just like... You know, a real upside to the female-to-male ratio tonight. Very few people currently squirming in their seats thinking, Actually, Emilio Largo was the one with the Shark Tank. But thanks for playing. Hey, do you guys remember when Putin called Bo Obama a fag? I swear to God that happened. You can look it up. Totally happened. There's a guy who's secure in his masculinity. Gender policing a Portuguese water dog. I know he's famous for erring on the side of caution, but I still can't believe Obama let him get away with that. Yeah. I'm not saying nuke the Kremlin, but shit-talking man's best friend, that's gotta be worth 2 onion domes off the top. I mean, I got my own issues around Bo Obama. Around, not with. I'm not like, oh, that living manifestation of loyalty and trust can kiss my ass. And Bo's fine. Just the circumstances bother me. I don't know who remembers this, but the Obamas were very publicly in the market for a rescue dog. In Barack's own words, a mutt like me. And his daughters had allergies, so it wasn't as simple as just bopping down to the local shelter. But it's not like it would have been that hard to find a hypoallergenic breed that needed a home. I found mine like 2.5 blocks over, you know? We were this close to having the first black president be the adopt, don't shopper in chief. That would have mattered, you know? That would have had real downstream effects. But no, here comes Teddy Kennedy, who I did not previously realize was a breeder. And he's just like, here. And like it wasn't enough you killed the wind farms, you NIMBY prick. Like, I'm sorry, I know a lot of Democrats love him, the lion of the senator, whatever, but Bo Obama is my Chappaquiddick. And speaking of dogs, when we win, we have got to ban AI. I realize that segue sounds like a non sequitur. Bear with me. Now, I'm not saying, we have to ban it for, the good of the human race. I don't know that it presents an existential threat. I just want to ban it because it sucks. It sucks so bad. Have you seen this AI-generated image that the right wing has been spreading? It's from Hurricane Milton. It's a little girl and her puppy.
Oh, God.
Right? See, I told you. I told you it wasn't a non sequitur. And now I hesitate to call it obviously fake because that implies it was meant to fool anyone. And I mean, it doesn't even make the pretense of photorealism. I think it's going for like an Ann Getty's soft focus Americana deal. And I mean, look, all that crap looks to my eye like something from the airbrushing craze of yesteryear. But this image in particular it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And I still have my credulous relatives sending it to me. And I'm like, have you seen this? And I'm like, yeah, once. On a tank top at the boardwalk in '94. Have you seen this? Because I would have thought the 3 extra pinkies would be a dead giveaway. And they're like, which makes it all the more tragic. Those eugenicists at FEMA are just letting the polydactyls drown. Go away, leave me alone. Gonna have to ban TikTok too. Cannot have a society this steeped in mis and disinformation. Gotta ban the TikTok. Oh, but Clarke, so many people in Gen Z, that's their sole source of income. Do you want online influencers to starve? No, God, of course not. That takes way too long. God. Just think about starving it's the dehydration that gets you. As long as they got access to water, you're talking 4 or 5 days of content creation after the food supply's cut off. No, I'm afraid we'll need a much swifter method of execution for online influencers. Because all you get out of there, you get stuff like the profoundly counterproductive Starbucks boycott. You haven't heard of this. Pro-Palestinian activists somehow got it into their heads that Starbucks funds the Israeli Defense Forces. Guys, it's not those kind of bucks. Or that kind of star. Look, I don't want to sound like I'm, I don't care about the plight of the Palestinians. I support their liberation. I do. For all the good that does them, Congratulations, you've received the coveted Clarke seal of approval. That and $1.50 will get you a Costco hot dog, which you can't eat. But man, I can't get into that whole mishigas. Like I said up top, I'm a milquetoast resist lib. I mean well and I do squat. You ask me about Israel-Palestine, I say those 3 little words, 2-state solution, and I bounce. I'm out of here. I will be taking no follow-up questions. I throw down those magic words like a smoke bomb, and I run right back to the warm embrace of Mark Hamill's Twitter feed. That's what I do. I know I'm being glib, but burnout's a real thing. You have to understand, they've been at each other's throats over there for my entire adult life. And there was a time when I thought I had something to contribute. I thought maybe I could be the hero we were all waiting for. And I sat down one day, I rolled up my sleeves, I got to work, and I worked out my own, eminently viable 2-state solution. A vision of people's living side by side in peace. And I took it to the General Council, and I was not given a fair hearing. They just dismissed my 2-state solution out of hand. And it turns out not even Palestinians want to live in one of the Dakotas. Come on. There's no Jews there. There's no anything there. I'll tell you what, no matter what happens on Tuesday, at least we won't have to hear about the border for another 4 years. Oh, I should make sure I still got my prop in it. Yeah. We're not going to hear about the border because the Republicans learned with Dobbs, you never give the base what it wants. That will not work out for you. And plus, I don't think they ever had any intention of building that wall anyway. Look, I'll believe you want to close the border when you stop dicking around with contractors and get involved with whoever invented these godforsaken things. Fortress America. Imagine trying to find an opening in a wall made of these suckers. With gloves on? Forget it. I support a madre! I don't even believe in borders. I say throw the southern border open. Whoever wants to come, come. Because to me, America is all about diversity. That beautiful mosaic. And if there's one thing we just don't have enough of here in the good old US of A, it's Jesus freaks with terrible taste in music. We gotta swell those ranks. Come on. I'm over on 4th and Jackson. I love living in a majority-minority neighborhood. A lot of immigrants. I like it because it's such a vibrant community. So vibrant. Maybe a little too vibrant sometimes. I could see myself getting behind a city ordinance that said, no vibrancy before 10 a.m. on weekends. But no, I'm all for Latin American immigration. The more the better. And no, I haven't seen the polling coming out of that demographic. Why? Why do you ask? I'm gonna tell you people one thing. You're gonna miss Joe Biden when he's gone. I know I will. Tell you. You know, coming off Halloween, look, nobody loves Halloween more than me. And even I can't really explain the appeal. I mean, there's an intuitive sense that something about celebrating the macabre, you know, but nobody can really put it into words. And I've always subscribed to the theory that it's a safe way to reckon with our own mortality, right? But I don't believe that anymore. Because if we were at all interested in reckoning with our mortality, Joe Biden's approval ratings wouldn't be in the toilet. I'm sorry I saved the world while looking like a Bernie Wrightson sketch. Oh, God, I love that guy. And of all the things I love about Biden, man, I mean, there's so many. I mean, you know, he saved us from the neo-Confederacy, and he got us through a pandemic. He kept us out of a recession. He beat inflation. He brought manufacturing back. He strengthened unions. He expanded our overseas alliances. And all the money he's put into, you know, green energy and climate mitigation. But my favorite thing, just the way he's completely absent from my consciousness. That man has an absolutely sterling record of leaving me alone. And everybody's like, oh, his handlers are hiding him. They're keeping him away from the cameras. Good! Let's keep that going for number 47 and beyond. Jesus. Now the common wisdom, I suppose, is that, it was his poor debate performance that killed his re-election campaign. I don't think that's true, though. I think there was a small, vanishingly small chance they could have turned it around. But then came that NATO press conference, and that was the death knell. And I mean, sure, he went a long way towards redeeming himself when he showed a complex, nuanced understanding of issues and policies, both foreign and domestic. But he ended up just giving more ammunition to the people who said he cannot appeal to the kinds of swing voters you need to win the battleground states. And what happened, a real own goal. I cringe just thinking about it. Just such an embarrassing misstep. What happened was, just as he was about to introduce Zelensky, he displayed a complex, nuanced understanding of issues and policies, both foreign and domestic. There goes the Sun Belt. Oh man, that was a fun week to be a Democrat on the internet. The week everybody was trying to push Biden out. Oh God, that was fun. And I wasn't even really in either camp, and I still ended up being persona non grata. You know, just admitting he'd lost his fastball got me called ageist. Your ageism is showing. Check your ageism. There's a word for you, ageist. Okay, you got me. I hate age. How could I not? It turned the best president of my lifetime into a liability. To say nothing of what it's done to my friend group, tooth enamel, and sperm count. That last one doesn't really bother me, honestly. So far, that diminished libido is the only bright spot in getting older for me. I'm so much more at peace. Back in the day, I used to want to sleep with every single woman that crossed my path. But But these days, I only want to sleep. Now that Kamala Harris is top of the ticket, there's another word you got to look out for if you're going to be arguing on the internet. Misogynoir. Man, we liberals sure do love our too cute by half neologisms, don't we? Oh yeah, misogynoir. Look, don't get me wrong. I absolutely see the utility in having a single word that encapsulates the unique discrimination faced by African American women in this country. But misogynoir, that ain't it, sis. That is a terrible name for such a corrosive form of bigotry. Great name for a goth My Little Pony. You may have noticed that I haven't had a lot to say about the woman who I've named this show after. Comedy, the name of the show. That's Kamady. And if you've seen me perform at the bookstore, you're probably thinking, you hypocrite. Every time you're on the mic, you make fun of them for calling their comedy show Symposia. And that's the best you can come up with? Okay, I take your point, but in the immortal words of Winston Churchill, yes, madam, but when I wake up tomorrow, I won't still be stuck with my groan-worthy portmanteau. So yeah, I haven't had a lot to say about Kamala, but that's just because I don't think much about her. Which is not to say I don't think much of her. I think she's great. I got no issue. She just doesn't take up a whole lot of my mental energy. A trend I pray continues for years to come. But I like her, I do. I like her a whole hell of a lot more than I need to. I ain't gotta like you much if you're running against one of Dr. Moreau's failed early experiments involving a blobfish. Maybe replacement level for all I care, but I do like her. I like that she's playing to win. I like that. There's no more of that Hillary-esque leveling with the electorate nonsense. We're not doing that anymore. No more, being forthright with the voters about what your administration is likely to accomplish. Oh no. Oh, we tried not insulting your intelligence, America. That won't happen again anytime soon. We're not going back. We're not going back. No. Now it's all about blowing populist smoke up the nation's collective ass. The other guy was like, no tax on tips. And Kamala was like, oh, hell no, you ain't getting Nevada. Yeah, sure, no tax on tips. Sounds good. Sign me up. That's, you know what, that's actually not a good example of pandering because I support that. I support no tax on tips. Because I've been there. Any other veterans of the food and beverage trenches? Wait tables, 10 bar, any of you out there? Hoorah! So you know what a windfall this will be. For all those millions and millions of service sector workers who accurately declare their cash earnings. Playing to win. Kamala's got the eye of the tiger, which is probably racist against one, if not both, halves of her lineage. You know what? Who cares? I mean, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, people. Things are bad. When the opposition party is spewing vile lies to whip up hate against an outgroup, a la the Haitians are coming to eat your pets, it's bad. Things are bad. But you got to look for the silver lining. And the good news for my fellow white liberals is there has never been a better time to be an imperfect ally. You got 2 more days. 2 more days of being mildly problematic without consequence. You are running against a spray-tanned hate crime. You think anybody gives a shit if you microaggress? So if you have a coworker of color with an expansive vocabulary and crisp diction, and you were never comfortable bringing it up before, now is the time to pay that backhanded compliment. They'll just be like, you know, I am pretty eloquent.
In a second language.
Look, I don't want to get your hopes up, but they might even let you touch their hair. Dream big, honkies. Kamala's the one, man. She's my champion. Because I need that ambulatory mashed potato devil's tower from Close Encounters to go away and leave me alone. And only Kamala can make that happen. Oh, God, he's just... Look, put aside the racism and the sexism and the fascism. Put it all aside. He's just so annoying. He's so annoying. The weave. I do the weave. You don't do... Motherfucker, I do the weave. Okay, I don't really do the weave. I just fetishize callbacks. But I come a damn sight closer than you malfunctioning country bear jamboree animatronic. God. I just... Look, people, I don't want to be a news junkie anymore. Okay? This is a curse. Let me tell you how bad it's gotten, okay? Now, a normal person with a healthy relationship to current events, their reaction to finding out that Justin Caporale, January 6th organizer and Trump aide, was the man identified as the one who physically assaulted a female employee at Arlington National Cemetery. Their reaction would be something along the lines of, what a jerk. That's nothing like my reaction, which was, and I quote, no way that wasn't Lewandowski. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. This would have been like a 3 strikes deal for Corey Lewandowski. So they paid this guy to take the fall because it would have been his first offense. I mean, not his first offense, but legally speaking. You know? And here's the thing. If you recognize the names involved in this story, and how I envy you if you don't, you know I'm right. You know this is how it went down. This is no way to live, having this kind of insight into these kind of people. I should not be able to look at a political movement of, by, and for domestic abusers and say, oh, this has got Corey's fingerprints on it. That's what this one's got. They are, man. Just woman beaters all the way down. All of them. Steve Bannon, Jason Miller, Rob Porter, even the celebrities they get at their rallies, Antonio Brown. And see, this is why the right has always reserved a special ire for Joe Biden. See, it's not because he's the current standard bearer. This goes back decades. See, Joe Biden is the one who wrote the Violence Against Women Act. And good old bipartisan Joe, he managed to peel off enough Republicans to get it passed into law. Can you imagine the betrayal those GOP defectors must have felt when they realized it was supposed to reduce it? We've been had. We've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Man. You know, that's something I will never understand. I will never be able to fathom the mind of a man who would raise his hand to a woman. Never understand that. And look, it's not because, I'm so enlightened, I can stand strong against my base animal instincts. It just never occurred to me. I don't, never had the urge. Okay, once. Briefly. And of course I didn't act on it, but okay, I'll cop to that fleeting feeling of why I oughta. See, what happened was my girlfriend at the time, she always knew how to push my buttons, but in the heat of an argument, she said to me, "Clarke, you couldn't fuck your way out of a paper bag." Well, I showed her. I didn't hit her, though. If I had hit her, she would have left me, bleeding out in a ditch. This broad was 5'11" and built Ford tough, you know what I'm saying? Kind of woman make George Mallory say, "Because she's there." Oh, God, I miss her. Ugh. Yeah, I wouldn't get to hit her. What, are you crazy? Don't start none, won't be none. That's my feminist mantra. She said what she said, and I was like, okay, honey. Tell you what, I'll just finish putting these groceries away, and then, who knows, might surprise you. Okay, for the record, no, I did not literally fuck my way out of a paper bag. In my defense, 2-ply, surprisingly sturdy. A lot of tensile strength when you double it up. Okay, so we should probably talk about this. Yeah, I realize it's a little on the flattering side. I did it a while ago. I didn't know I was going for a Hal Holbrook thing. Went back. But, yeah, so about the self-flattery there. Look, the first draft was a proper caricature, warts and all. And then I was like, why am I doing reality's dirty work for it? I don't. It's my pencil. I can be dirtbag Archie if I want. But I'm actually not talking about this. I'm talking about the image this is riffing on. Admit it. You all thought he won the election with that picture, didn't you? You thought he won right then and there. Jane Z, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man, I thought he won with that picture. I saw that above the fold in the Times, and I was like, damn, a picture really is worth 1,000 words. I must have said, I hope Sotomayor retires soon at least 200 times. Man. As though I didn't already have enough reason to hate Pennsylvania in an even numbered year. Asshole kid. Oh, you know what? I have to issue a correction on a previous joke. Last year, I was defending the Biden dogs. And while I maintain that if Major and Commander were not in fact good boys, then at least one of their 40-plus victims would have come from outside the Secret Service. But I was wrong in the particulars. See, I was assuming that they could sense ill intent. No, it looks like they just hate slackers. Cannot abide shoddy work. They just... I can tell from your micro-expressions you have no interest in securing a sight line. Look, if you're going to do a half-assed job, do it in front of any other kind of shepherd. Those German ones are sticklers. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, even when I say it, any joke you make about the Germans sounds like you're talking about that. This is why we need... All right, so let's talk about that shooter. Fit the standard profile for such things, you know. Gun nut, loner, incel. I don't think we actually have confirmation on that last one, but we've all seen the pictures of the guy, you know. Woo! Looks like when Woody Woodpecker gets hit so hard with a ukulele, his head retains the shape. You know what I mean? Not a handsome fella, that one. And this is the unifying thread. In the wake of these disasters, we always search for a motive, and then it always ends up the same. It's always coming down to just some guy that ain't getting any.
Yep.
And honestly, it's a minor miracle that so few act out on that impulse. Because this is apparently just an immutable facet of the male psyche. Just a lack of physical intimacy inevitably leads to grandiose violent ideation. I bet. Oh man, such a relief though that he wasn't a liberal, right?
Yeah.
Not that stopped them from trying to pin it on us. Yeah, it's because they say horrible, horrible things about me. They shouldn't be allowed to say, oh, whatever, Huey Long when measured horizontally across the ass. Look, I'm not saying he had it coming. I'm not. You guys can attest to that if anybody with an earpiece asks. I'm not saying it. Which, hey, they can come after me. They can come question me if they want. I would think their time and resources might be better spent getting their agents up to speed on the cutting-edge counter-terror tactics, such as looking up. But, if you want to come interview me, that's fine too. And then came the second attempt on his life. Do you guys even remember that? I barely remember that. Landed with a thud. Do you remember that second attempt? It was out while he was out on his golf course?
Yeah.
Which I only specify because Jabba the Putt is the one insult I haven't managed to work in anywhere else. But yeah, that second attempt, boy. Oh, not since House of the Dragon has a follow-up been received with such a resounding, huh? Oh, okay. Reporters were all like, breaking news, the former president. I'm like, oh, stop it. Nobody cares. His supporters don't even care. Oh, but Clarke, half the country still loves him. No, they just hate you. They love him the way a SWAT team loves its battering ram. He's just a thing as far as his supporters are concerned. And in actuality, a really annoying thing. The deep state came at the king again. Buy my sneakers. Like, oh, shut up. Go away and leave me alone. You know what that reminded me of, that second attempt? All right, you know when your kid is in that phase where they're just keeping you on your toes all the time? Like, if there's a sharp corner, they'll find it. If there's a heavy object perched high up, they'll find a way to bring it down on their head. And if not, they'll just flop like a Portuguese footballer. Like you're hanging out with friends, he comes toddling into the kitchen, you know, like, Mom, look what I... Wham! Oh, sweetheart, come here. Let Mommy kiss it. It's okay, feel better, sport? All right. Why don't you run off to your room while Mommy talks to her big friends? Okay, off you go. Where were we? Kid just rounds the corner. Boom! Well, oh, Jesus Christ, Braden, it's called spatial awareness. Develop some. That's what that second thing reminded me of. Yeah, my other ear. Buy my NFT. Oh, God, just stop it. Just go away. Stop being a black hole at the center of my existence. Chaos and drama just follow you like a cloud. You're like Pigfen from Peanuts if Charles Schultz were incapable of imbuing his characters with humanity. God, just go away. Give me back my news cycle, you messy bitch. Oh. Hey, here's a thought. Bring your rallies indoors. Have your little Nuremberg-a-palooza inside of 4 walls and a ceiling. And I'm definitely saying this for your own good, and not because the piss-poor quality of your would-be assassins means the best I can hope for is a lucky ricochet. Clarke, did you just wrap a death threat in a layer of irony for plausible deniability? You're really testing the First Amendment. Not if you don't snitch, I'm not. And so what? Oh, I gotta worry about my incendiary rhetoric getting him killed? Please. The guy's like if you stuffed a Radio Rwanda transmitter inside of Liberace's bloated corpse. I'm supposed to worry about fomenting violence against him? Aw, is the stochastic terrorist in chief gonna get a boo-boo? Is he gonna fall down, go boom? Kiss my ass. Oh, he doesn't want a target drawn on his back? Okay, well, why don't you just tell father wants to stoop his daughter Coughlin over there that I've got a great little piece of advice which has always stood me as a man who, as discussed earlier, likes them big, in good stead. And that advice is, say it with me, don't start none, won't be none. That's right. All right, now let's get out there, people. Let's get out there and let's elect Kamala Devi Harris, the first woman of color president of these United States. Yeah. Hey, Clarke, why does your skin color matter? What are you, reverse racist? Maybe, I don't know. It would explain some things. It would explain why, as a child, I always reflexively rooted for the black or less frequently Asian team on Family Feud. And you know, I'm proud of that kid. Little freedom fighter. Growing up in rural New Hampshire. Which, look, it ain't the South. But they didn't exactly expect us little crackers to do the work, you know? So sure, maybe I'm reverse racist. I don't know. Maybe that's why I spend so much time in the digital company of Evelyn Lynn, Sahara Knight, and Kira Noir. Don't Google them. They're online influencers. Oh yeah, what do they influence? Blood flow direction, mostly. Look, the point, I don't know if I'm a reverse racist. Man cannot truly know even himself. But I do know a few things, ladies and Chris. I know that this is America, goddammit. I know that much. I know that if that sick fuck wants to get his filthy little paws on her again, he's gonna have to come through us. I know that.
Yeah.
And I know that I, for one, am not going back. You going back, Andy? Are you going back? No, you're not. You going back, Mary Beth?
No way.
Lois, you going back? Which direction are you going in, Shauna?
Forward.
You know what? Let's not go crazy. We can spin our wheels right here. think Bidenomics doesn't work for another 40-something hours. Fine. Forward it is. So let's go forward. Let's get our girl into the Oval Office and then immediately forget she exists. Yeah! Madam President, I will say from the comfort of my couch, it's been an honor getting you over the finish line. Now go attend to the responsibilities of your new job, whatever they may be. Meet admission standards and fill court vacancies. You know, reinstate Roe, arm Taiwan. Yeah, codify LGBTQ rights. Just do whatever you gotta do, and just go away and leave me alone. Now, my name is Clarke. If you'd like to come visit me on social media, what did I just say? All right, listen, that is it for me. Thank you all so much for coming out. And just one more time, I want to give such a special thank you to Galatea. Deb, I cannot thank you enough. If it weren't for you, I would have no idea what a bra looks like. No, I'm just saying the lights were always out. Well above average numbers of times I've gotten busy. Thank you. Now go away and leave me alone.